This video is about she was his second chance but accepting her meant losing his pack. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. She was his second chance, but accepting her meant losing his pack. The moon hung low, a silver coin tossed in the dark velvet sky, illuminating the sprawling forest of Vesper Hollow. This was no ordinary night, it was the eve of a full moon, a time when instincts surged, and wolves answered the call of their primal nature. As the alpha of the silver wolf pack, Darius stood at the edge of a ravine, the chill of the air biting at his skin, yet his heart felt overheated, caught between duty and desire. He knew the weight of his position, the expectations that came with it, but tonight it was the softness of her memory that consumed him. "Why can't you just let go, Darius?" Beta, Kale, growled, emerging from the shadows, his eyes narrowed with concern. "You be risking everything for someone who has not even one of us." Darius clenched his jaw, his fierce blue eyes sparkling with a dangerous glimmer. "She is not just anyone, Kale, she is my mate." "You're in." Kale paused, disbelief evident in his tone. "You can seriously mean that? She is an Omega from the Crescent Moon pack. You know it is forbidden. Is love supposed to have boundaries?" Darius snapped, feeling the dark tendrils of his wolf clawing at him, urging him to run, to find her, to claim what was rightfully his. But the consequences loomed like shadows, dark and undeniable. "Love isn't enough, Darius." Kale's voice softened, his loyalty evident. "You accept her, and you risk the wrath of your own pack. They will never forgive you." Darius turned away, staring into the depths of the forest, the echoes of his pack celebrating their upcoming ritual ringing hollow in his ears. Every howl felt like a reminder of the betrayal he'd face, not just from his pack, but from the very instincts that made him a wolf. "Maybe I am tired of the rules," he whispered, memories of her laughter dancing in his mind, a flicker of warmth in the cold night. Luna, the gentle, enchanting Omega with eyes that reflected the night sky. She was the balm to his lone wolf heart. What if she chooses her pack over you? Kale pressed, his voice rising with urgency. "You could lose everything, your status, your friends, even your family. You know how fiercely they'll react." But Darius had seen the truth in her eyes, a depth of understanding that surpassed pack lines, one that called to him in a way he couldn't ignore. Sometimes, Kale, love demands sacrifice. As the moon climbed higher, illuminating the ground with a silvery glow, Darius felt the pull within him grow stronger. He turned and sprinted into the thick woods, the shadows flanking him, urging him towards his destiny. Meanwhile, in the territory of the Crescent Moon pack, Luna stood at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the vast expanse of the valley below. The breeze tangled her dark hair, and she breathed in a scent of pine and earth, but it was the absence of Darius that tightened her chest. "Luna," a soft voice interrupted her reverie. It was Eric, her supportive but cautious alpha. "You shouldn't be here alone. The Silver Wolf pack could come at any moment." Luna offered a small smile, trying to mask her turmoil. "I know, but I can't help it. I need to be near him, even if it is just for a moment in my thoughts." Eric stepped closer, concern etched on his handsome face. "You know the risks. Darius is a powerful alpha, and the politics between our packs are dangerous. You playing with fire." She turned to him, her heart a storm of emotions. "But we were meant to be, Eric. I felt it the first time we met. There is something that binds us." A flicker of something dark crossed Eric's features, but it was quickly replaced by a supportive smile. "Love can be a beautiful thing, but it can also lead to destruction. We need to think about the pack." Luna's heart sank as the words pierced through her. The very pack she had grown to love. "I would never betray you or my family, but staying away from him feels like ripping a part of my soul away." "Then what will you do?" Eric's voice softened, the weight of leadership heavy on his shoulders. "You need to make a choice, him or us." Tears pricked at her eyes as she contemplated the impossible choice ahead of her. Darius was everything she yearned for, but her loyalty to her pack was a bond she couldn't easily shatter. The night grew deeper, and Darius felt the wild rhythm of his heart synchronized with the moon's pulse. The woods began to whisper secrets, urging him towards her, towards the one who was destined to be beside him. He reached the border, the invisible line that separated their packs, and for a moment he hesitated. His instincts clawed at him to cross, to claim her, yet the looming threat of betrayal held him captive. "Luna," he called out, his voice reverberating through the trees. His heart pounded, a wild drum echoing through the silence. Moments later, from the shadows, she emerged, her ethereal beauty striking him like a lightning bolt. The moonlight painted her figure in silver, and for a fleeting moment, time stood still. "Darius." Her voice was a soft whisper, yet it carried the weight of their longing. What are you doing here? I had to see you. He stepped closer, the magnetic pull between them igniting the air. I can bear to live without you, Luna. Her gaze flickered with uncertainty, and he could see the conflict unraveling within her. But what about our pacts, the boundaries? Let them try to keep us apart. His voice was raw with desperation. I'd fight the world for you. Her expression softened, but doubt clouded her eyes. You don't understand what you'd be risking. They won't accept this. Then let them reject me. I am done living for their approval. He closed the distance, reaching out to cup her face in his hands. You are my second chance, Luna. I refuse to let it slip away. Tears glistened in her eyes, a mix of longing and fear. Darius, Before she could finish, the air crackled with tension as a growl echoed from the thicket. Eric emerged, his presence a storm cloud, eyes blazing with fury. Luna, step away from him. Eric commanded, his tone brokering no argument. You be putting us all at risk. Darius instinctively moved to protect her, the alpha instinct roaring within him. Stay out of this, Eric. She is not your property. Neither is she yours, Eric snapped back, shifting to display dominance. You re betraying your own pack. This isn't just about you too. In that moment, the fragile peace shattered. The distance between them felt insurmountable as Eric's pack members began closing in, their eyes flashing with suspicion and anger. Luna, please, Darius pleaded, reaching for her as the tension crackled like lightning. Don't let them tear us apart. But the choice hung heavy between them, the weight of loyalty threatening to crush the fragile bond they had fought so hard to nurture. Darius, I can't she whispered, breaking his heart with those words. I can choose you over my pack. And in that moment, Darius felt a piece of himself die, a profound ache settling deep within his chest. As he watched her step back into the safety of her pack, he knew the battle for their love had only just begun. As the night deepened and the full moon stood witness, Darius stood at the border, feeling the sharp sting of rejection. Love was both a blessing and a curse, and he had never felt so lost. Let us go, Cale said, placing a supportive hand on his shoulder, but Darius didn't move. He was determined to fight for what was his, even if it meant facing the wrath of their packs, sacrificing everything he once held dear. Tomorrow, I'll claim her, he vowed, his voice a low growl, filled with desperation and resolve. I refuse to give up on love. The woods whispered their agreement as he prepared to navigate the treacherous path ahead, the path of fate, where love, loyalty, and destiny intertwined like the roots of the ancient trees that surrounded him. She was his second chance, but accepting her meant losing his pack too. The next day dawned with a heavy mist hanging over the forest, shrouding Vesper hollow in a veil of uncertainty. Darius felt the weight of his resolve echoing in his heart, steady like the rhythmic pull of the moon above. Are you really going to do this? Hale's voice was low and cautious as they stood at the edge of the Silver Wolf territory. The tension between them crackled like the energy of the approaching storm. Yes, Darius replied, his eyes blazing with determination. I'll fight for her, Cale. I won't let her go. Cale shook his head, frustration etching lines across his brow. And what about the consequences? Your pack needs you. They'll see this as a betrayal, and it could lead to war. You're risking everything. Everything feels meaningless without her. Darius shot back, his passion igniting the air between them. Luna is my mate, and I refuse to let tradition dictate my happiness. The bait aside, knowing Darius was lost in his emotions, but he also recognized the truth in his leader's words. Then let us make a plan. If you were going to confront Eric, you need allies, not enemies. Just then, an older wolf approached, his gait slow but confident. It was Eldrick, the pack's elder, his eyes clouded with wisdom. Darius, Cale, he greeted, his voice resonating with authority. I overheard your conversation. This path you were on, it is fraught with danger. Darius straightened, meeting Eldrick's gaze. I know the risks, but I cannot turn my back on my mate. Love is worth fighting for. True love knows no bounds, Eldrick agreed, but his voice was laced with caution. However, the bond between packs is sacred. If you choose to pursue her, prepare for the consequences. You may not return as Alpha. Darius swallowed hard, the weight of Eldrick's words settling deep within him. I'll accept any consequences if it means I can have her. Then we shall stand by your side, Darius, Cale said, placing a hand on his friend's shoulder. But we must tread carefully. We'll need a strategy. As Darius looked at the two wolves who had stood by him through thick and thin, he felt a flicker of hope. We'll approach the Crescent Moon pack during their evening gathering. I'll challenge Eric for Luna. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the full moon began to rise, the atmosphere in the crescent moon pack was charged with excitement. The wolves danced under the moonlight, their bodies moving in synchronicity, a celebration of their unity. Luna stood on the edge of the festivities, her heart a turbulent sea. The moonlight illuminated her features, and with every laugh and howl around her, she felt the distance growing between her and Darius. "Luna!" Eric called as he approached, his presence as commanding as ever. "Why so distant? Join us, we re-celebrating a full moon. It is a night of joy." With a forced smile, she stepped into the throng of wolves, but her heart was still with Darius. "I am just thinking," she replied softly, hoping he would sense her inner turmoil. "About that alpha of the silver wolf pack?" Eric asked, his tone sharp with jealousy. "You need to let him go. He is a danger to our pack, and you know it." She looked away, feeling the sting of betrayal. "I can't just forget him. He means something to me, Eric." "You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment," Eric warned, his voice low. "Think about your family. You have a duty here, Luna." The anger built within her, frustration at being torn between her heart and her loyalty. "You don't understand. I feel a connection to him that I can't explain, if that's not just infatuation." Eric's expression softened slightly, but the fire of leadership remained. "Then what will you do? Choose him, and you risk losing everything you've ever known." As if summoned by the moon itself, a howl echoed through the valley, primal and powerful. Darius stood at the border of their territory, flanked by Kel and a few loyal pack members. His presence was magnetic, drawing the attention of every wolf present. "Luna!" Darius called, his voice piercing through the night like an arrow. The crowd fell silent, all eyes turning toward him. "Stay back, Darius, this is our territory." Eric stepped forward, his alpha instincts flaring in response. "I am here for only one reason," Darius replied, his fierce gaze locking onto Luna's. "I am here for my mate." Luna felt her heart race at the sight of him, the desperation in his eyes igniting a fire within her. "Darius, you shouldn't have come. This is dangerous." "I don't care," he roared, the power in his voice resonating through the night. "I want to allow our love to be dictated by others. You are mine, and I will fight to claim you." The tension escalated as the crescent moon pack surrounded Eric, ready to defend their alpha. "You were a fool to challenge me, Darius," Eric growled, stepping forward, dominance radiating from him like a dark storm. "You were risking a war. Then let us settle this like wolves," Darius proclaimed, his eyes blazing with an intensity that sent shivers down Luna's spine. "Challenge me if you dare, Eric." "Enough!" Eric shouted, his voice booming through the gathering. "Luna is not a prize to be won. She is a member of my pack, and I will protect her." Luna felt torn, her heart echoing the confines of loyalty and love. "Eric, please," she pleaded, stepping between them. "This isn't just about territory, it is about us." Darius' jaw clenched as he stepped closer, his instincts urging him to claim her, to pull her into his arms and shield her from everything. "You deserve to choose for yourself, Luna." "Choose?" Eric scoffed, glancing between them. "You think this is a game? You think love can conquer all? You are both deluding yourselves." Tension crackled in the air, and Luna's heart thudded painfully in her chest. "If I had to choose, I would choose love," she whispered. "But I don't want to lose everything." Darius reached for her, desperation clawing at him. "I'll protect you. I'll fight for you, no matter the cost. Just say the word, and I will take you from here." "Darius, please." Luna's voice trembled, tears glistening in her eyes. "What if I can't leave? What if they don't let me?" "Then we'll fight together," he vowed, his resolve unwavering. "You are my mate, and I refuse to let anyone come between us." Eric's eyes narrowed, his instincts flaring. "If you think you can just waltz into my pack and take her, you are sorely mistaken. You'll have to go through me, and my pack will not stand idle." "Then let us do this." Darius growled, stepping forward, the primal energy of his wolf bubbling to the surface. "I will not back down." As the moon hung high, a shimmering witness to their fated encounter, Luna felt the weight of destiny pressing on her heart. "Darius, don't do this," she cried out, stepping toward him in desperation. But it was too late. The air erupted with tension, and the challenge had been made. The wolves from both packs began to surround them, ready to witness the showdown that would determine their fates. "Let the moon bear witness," Eric declared, his tone filled with the authority of an alpha. "Let the strongest wolf claim his prize." With a flicker of hesitation, Luna stepped back, caught between the two destinies that awaited her. The world felt like it was spinning, and she could hardly breathe, trapped in a mosaic of love, loyalty, and impending chaos. In that moment, she knew she couldn't stand by it and watch. "Wait," she shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. "This isn't how it is supposed to be." But the challenge had begun, and as the two alphas squared off, she understood that love was both a sanctuary and a battlefield. The night was just beginning, and destiny had woven a tangled web around them, one that neither of them could escape. With her heart splitting in two, Luna had to make the hardest choice of all. The moonlight poured down like a silvery waterfall, and she knew that, somehow, she had to bridge the gap between the two worlds she loved. "Darius, Eric," she shouted, her voice cutting through the charged air. "I will not choose between you. I want us both." The silence that followed was deafening, and as the moon watched over them, the fate of their love hung precariously in the balance. She was his second chance, but accepting her meant losing his pack. Part 3. The moon hung like a guardian in the night sky, its glow casting an ethereal light on the tense standoff between the two alphas. Luna's heart raced as she stood between Darius and Eric, feeling the weight of their conflicting destinies pressing down on her. "Luna, don't T." Darius' voice was like a thunderclap, resonating with desperation. "You can mean that. Choose me." "I am not choosing," she cried, her voice trembling, her eyes darting between the two wolves who were her heart and her home. "I love you both in different ways, but I refuse to be a pawn in this battle." Eric stepped forward, his posture tense yet protective. "Luna, this isn't just about you. Your safety and the future of our pack are at stake." Darius is reckless. "Reckless?" Darius shot back, his eyes blazing with a fierce determination. "I am fighting for what is right, Eric. You think keeping her within your pack will protect her? You're wrong. You're just trying to control her." Luna felt the storm brewing within her, a cacophony of emotions threatening to spill over. "Stop," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Just stop. This isn't what I want." The whispers of the gathered wolves surged around them, a tide of anticipation, some hoping for bloodshed, others praying for peace. The air was electric, charged with ancestral instincts and the ancient fight for dominance. "Then what do you want?" Darius asked, his voice softening for a moment, the intensity in his eyes dimming to something softer, more vulnerable. "To tell me how to fight for you. I'll do anything." Tears brimmed in her eyes as she looked into Darius' fierce gaze, the raw emotion there breaking her heart. "I want you both to understand that I want to be forced into a choice. I love you both." "Luna," Eric began, but she cut him off, stepping forward, her heart pounding in her chest. "No, you don't have to fight. We can find a way to make this work." Luna's voice rose with the urgency of her plea, her chest heaving with the weight of her emotions. Darius took a step closer, closing the distance between them, his presence grounding her. "We can change the dynamics of the packs, Luna. You don't have to choose between us. We can unite our packs." A murmur rippled through the crowd, uncertainty present in the faces of both packs. Eric's expression hardened, doubt flashing in his eyes. "You think it is that easy? Our packs have been enemies for generations. Maybe it's time for that to change." Darius' voice rose with conviction. "What if our love could forge a new path? We can set a new precedent, show them that love is stronger than hatred." "A love doesn't erase centuries of rivalry," Eric retorted, frustration spilling over. "Your idea is a fantasy built on desire. This isn't a fairytale." Luna placed a hand on Darius' arm, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath her fingers. "But it could be. Our love could be the bridge that unifies us. We can fight against the old ways, together." "Together?" Eric scoffed, anger flaring. "You don't understand the risks, Luna. You re-inviting chaos into our lives. I can't allow that." "And I can't allow you to dictate my future," she shouted back, her heart racing with the fierce need to reclaim her agency. "I will not be a sacrifice for your old ways." The air crackled with tension as Darius' fierce gaze met hers, his determination ignited a spark within her. "We will find a way, Luna. I promise you that. No one will keep us apart, no pack, no tradition." "Darius." Luna's voice softened, her heart aching at the thought of losing him. "But what if they don't accept us? What if they turn on us?" The look in his eyes was unwavering, fierce enough to match the storm that raged in her heart. "Then we'll fight them. I'd rather face 100 battles with you by my side than live in a world where we can love freely." "Darius, this isn't just about you and me," Eric interjected, the weight of leadership evident in his voice. "What about our packs? What about the lives that will be affected by your reckless decisions? Inaction will bring nothing but stagnation and suffering." Darius roared, his wolf instincts surging. "This is bigger than us. If we don't change, we'll be bound to repeat the cycle of hatred." Luna's heart raced as she watched the tension escalate, the pack members' eyes darting between their leaders. The stakes felt impossibly high, and she knew the path ahead would be fraught with danger. But then let us make a pact, Luna spoke, her voice steady despite the turmoil within her. If we can unite our packs, I will choose both of you, but if we can find common ground, I will step away from both of you. No blood will be shed. Are you serious? Eric's expression shifted from anger to disbelief. You would risk your life for this? I am willing to risk everything for love, she declared, her voice a steadfast resolve. I refuse to watch you tear each other apart over me. We deserve better than this. Darius' expression softened, admiration dancing in his fierce gaze. You are incredible, Luna, a true leader in your own right. We will find a way. Then let us start now. Eric's voice held a hint of resignation, but beneath it lay the ember of hope. We can gather our packs and speak to them, but we have to do it together as equals. Yes, Luna said, feeling the warmth of unity begin to blossom. We can show them that our love can heal the wounds of the past. As the three of them stood together, a fragile alliance began to form, the moon above them casting a silvery glow that felt like a blessing from the universe. The tension in the air shifted, and the whispers of the assembled wolves turned to murmurs of curiosity. Bring your wolves. Let us bring them together under the moonlight, Darius suggested, determination etched in his features. They need to see us united, not divided by fear. Eric nodded, albeit reluctantly. Very well, but you must be ready for the backlash. Not all will be willing to accept this. Let them come, Darius replied with a defiant growl. We will stand together, side by side, facing whatever comes our way. Luna felt a flicker of hope ignite within her, a small light in the darkness. We will forge a new path, one where love is stronger than hate. As they prepared to call their packs together, the air grew thick with anticipation. Wolves from both sides gathered, their eyes filled with curiosity, skepticism, and hope. Luna felt the weight of their gazes on her, and her heart began to race. Tonight we gather not as enemies, but as allies, she called out, her voice ringing clear and strong beneath the watchful moon. We are here to break the chains of tradition and embrace a path built on love. Darius stepped forward, his presence commanding. I stand before you not just as an alpha, but as a wolf deeply in love. Luna is my mate, and I will fight for her and for the future of both our pack. Eric followed, his voice steady. I may not agree with every choice made tonight, but I too will stand beside them. We can change the fate of our packs if we are willing to listen and embrace each other. As the two alphas spoke, Luna felt a wave of support wash over her. It was a moment of vulnerability, but also strength. The wolves stirred, the air thick with possibility. Let us choose love over hatred. Let us pave the way for a future where we can live in harmony. Luna cried, her heart soaring as she watched the wolves respond. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathering. In that moment, the moon shone brighter, a cosmic witness to their decision to fight for love. Luna felt the threads of destiny weaving around them, binding their fates together, and she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them united. As the night deepened, Darius and Eric stood shoulder to shoulder beside her, and she took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their shared dreams. They were not just fighting for their love, they were fighting for a future that would change everything. The journey ahead would be perilous, filled with challenges and resistance, but with love as their guiding force, they would carve their own destiny in the moonlight, one heartbeat at a time. Hashish was his second chance, but accepting her meant losing his pack part 4. As the moon rose high above Vesper Hollow, its silvery glow illuminated the faces of the gathered wolves. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, the whispers of doubt and hope swirling like the gentle breeze that rustled the leaves above. Luna stood at the forefront, flanked by Darius and Eric. The weight of her heart felt heavier than ever. She was a bridge between two worlds, and the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty. We have to be honest with our packs, she said, her voice steady yet laced with vulnerability. We must show them what we can achieve together. Darius nodded, his fierce blue eyes flimmering with resolve. Love can be a powerful force, we'll prove that tonight. He glanced at Eric, a shared goal momentarily creating a fragile bond between them. But we need to be prepared, there will be resistance. I know, Eric replied, his expression grave. Some will see this as betrayal, the old ways run deep, and change is never easy. But it is necessary, Luna interjected, her heart pounding fiercely. If we stand united, we can forge a new path, one that transcends the old rivalries. With a deep breath, Darius stepped forward. Tonight, we gather to refine our fate. Every wolf here deserves to know that love isn't a weakness, but a strength. The crowd shifted, murmurs of agreement swirling like leaves in the wind. As dusk fell, tension crackled in the air. Darius raised his voice once more. We will begin with honesty, Luna and I share a bond that defies tradition. We are mates, and our love can unite our packs. Love? A voice rose from the crowd, filled with skepticism. It was Ain, a strong wolf with defiant eyes, who stepped forward. You think love can erase centuries of hatred? You re a fool, Darius. And you re blind if you can see the power of love's truth. Darius shot back, his voice unwavering. You've lived in the shadow of this feud for too long. It is time to break free. Maybe love is just a pretty word for betrayal, Zane continued, his voice dripping with disdain. Your pact with the Crescent Moon Pack is treachery. Luna felt a knot tighten in her stomach, but she couldn't let fear silence her. This isn't treachery, she called, her voice ringing clear. It is a choice to step into the light. I refuse to be a pawn in battles that should have ended generations ago. Easy for you to say, Zane retorted. You are not a silver wolf, you don't know what it means to protect your own. And I am not asking you to abandon your loyalty, she countered, her heart racing. I am asking you to expand it. Together, we can forge a future, one where love and loyalty coexist. Silence hung in the air, the tension thick enough to cut. Darius stepped closer, his presence a shield at her side. You don't have to agree with us, but I challenge you to embrace the possibility of change, to see beyond your anger. With a flick of her gaze, Luna caught Arak's eyes, a silent exchange of encouragement passing between them. She felt the flicker of hope ignite within her. This is our chance to create a new legacy, she said, her voice rising with determination. One where our children can love freely without the chains of hatred binding their hearts. The members of the crowd began to shift, a mix of curiosity and resistance. What do we do if this fails? The voice called, uncertainty lacing its tone. Darius met the gaze of the wolf who had spoken. We fight together. If we falter, we stand side by side and face the consequences united. It is time for us to redefine what it means to belong. Another wolf, a wise elder from the Crescent Moon Pack, stepped forward, his fur streaked with silver. I have seen the pain of this feud for decades. My heart aches for a time when we can coexist. If love can lead us there, I stand with you. Luna felt a surge of hope blossom in her chest. We can do this, together, she urged, her voice growing stronger. Let our love be the light that guides us through the darkness. As the moon illuminated the valley, the tension in the air began to shift. The wolves murmured amongst themselves, contemplating the possibility of change. Darius' gaze locked onto Luna. The unspoken bond between them felt electric, a promise that they would face whatever came next, together. But then, a growl erupted from the shadows. You think we'll just let this happen? Zane stepped forward, his snarl betraying the anger bubbling beneath the surface. You think you can just waltz in and claim our territory? Zane, this isn't a territorial dispute. This is about more than land, Arak interjected, stepping forward, his tone firm yet measured. This is about our future. Your future. Zane scoffed. You all deluding yourselves. You've forgotten what it means to be wolves. This is weakness, not strength. Darius' eyes blazed with fury. This is where you wrong, Zane. Strength lies not in the ability to dominate, but in the courage to love and protect those who matter. It is time to evolve. Love isn't evolution, it is a distraction. Zane shot back, stepping dangerously close to Darius. You re-inviting chaos into our lives. As tension peaked, Luna felt the moment teetering on the brink of violence. Wait, she shouted, her voice cutting through the storm. If I must bear this burden, I'll do it for both of you. I will not let this spiral into bloodshed. Luna, you don't have to. Darius began, but she raised her hand, silencing him. I want both of you, but if this is to be my burden, then I'll face it head on. I will stand between you. Her heart raced, the weight of her love both a light and a burden. This is my choice to make. The crowd fell silent, uncertainty washing over them. The air was thick with tension, and Lou felt the eyes of every wolf upon her, dissecting her resolve. Your choice? Zane laughed harshly. You think you can just choose? This isn't a game. People will get hurt. I'd rather fight for love than allow fear to dictate our fate, she replied fiercely, standing tall. We cannot let the past dictate the future. I will lead us into a new dawn. Darius' gaze softened, a flicker of admiration igniting in his eyes. You are so brave, Luna, he whispered, stepping closer to her. I will always stand by your side. Arak, too, felt the change in the air, a sense of unity starting to resonate. If there is to be a future, we must listen to her, he said, addressing the crowd. Luna represents the love we all deserve, let us join her. With a commanding shake of his head, Zane's defiance wavered. You are playing a dangerous game, he warned, though uncertainty crept into his tone. What if this backfires? Then we will face the consequences together, Darius said, his voice steady. But I'd rather fight for a future built on love than cower in the shadows of hatred. Luna squeezed Darius' hand, the bond between them evident in a moment. Let us take this leap together. We can redefine what it means to be a pack. As the moon shone down on them, something shifted in the air. The memories began to change, the tide of uncertainty slowly turning. Maybe it is time for a new narrative. One wolf called out, and Luna felt a spark of hope flicker brighter. Together we stand, united, Darius proclaimed, raising his voice as the night air crackled with newfound energy. Let love be our guiding light. With those words, the atmosphere transformed. The wolves began to rally together, their spirits lifted by the possibility of change. The darkness that had threatened to engulf them began to dissipate under the moonlight, replaced with the warmth of hope and unity. But as optimism blossomed, a shadow loomed. Sane, still seething with anger, stepped away, plotting in the depths of his heart. This isn't over, he warned, his voice a low growl. You think this is a fairy tale, you'll all see the truth when the time comes. And with that, he retreated into the shadows, a storm cloud hanging over their newfound alliance. Luna felt her heart clench at the threat, knowing the battle was far from over. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she had chosen love, and she would fight for it. As the night deepened, the wolves began to howl, their voices rising in a chorus of unity. Luna felt Darius at her side, their hands intertwined, their hearts beating in sync. The bond that had formed between them, forged in the fires of adversity, was stronger than any fear that lingered. Whatever comes, we'll face it together, D.